Okay, so we are really close to being halfway through the year, and because of that, I've decided to now do the mid-year freak out tag. I'm really excited about this. I don't believe I did it last year, so it's going to be exciting for me to kind of look back on the books that I've read so far this year, and then look forward to books that I plan to read for the second half of the year. So let's get right on to the prompters. Prompt number one, the best book you've read so far in 2021. And this was not an easy decision for me because there's a lot of good books that I have read in 2021, but I've decided to go with this book, Game Changer by Neil Shusterman. This was absolutely amazing. The premise I'm going to give you guys about this book is that we're following a boy whose name is Ash, who is part of his high school football team. One day he experiences a concussion while out on the field playing in a game, and he is kind of knocked into an alternate reality. Ash ends up being knocked into a bunch of different alternate realities, and by the end we kind of find out why, but I don't want to spoil that. But Ash learns a ton of lessons along the way. If you are someone that is a fan of alternate realities or a fan of someone who learns a lesson along the way or many lessons or both, then I highly recommend this book. It was absolutely amazing. Game Changer, my favorite book, best book that I've read so far in 2021. Prompt number two is best sequel you've read so far in 2021. And I have to say that sequels have been a bit of a letdown for me so far this year. In fact, most of the sequels that I've read really did let me down. But one sequel that did, surprisingly maybe for some, not let me down was book 2 in the Shadowhunters series, City of Ashes. I absolutely love this series. I've only read the first 3 books so far, but I do plan on completing the series at some point because I loved each book. I just think that Cassandra Clare is an amazing author, and I just really loved the series. The Shadowhunters series, whether it's book or film, revolves around a group of people known as Shadowhunters who are basically protectors of humans against evil. Our protagonist, Clarissa, doesn't know, but it turns out she is in fact a Shadowhunter herself, and so we kind of learn through her about this world as she grows up and learns to become a Shadowhunter herself. I'm just a massive fan of this series so far. Prompt number 3, a new release you haven't read yet, but want to. And I'm going to go with this book, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Now, this is a gorgeous book, and if you, like me, are from Australia, please know that you cannot get this book in a store here. You need to order it from overseas. I would recommend Amazon. I just think that's the best way to go. This is a historical fiction. I don't remember the age rating, but the basic premise of this book is that we are following 2 people who ultimately end up working in an apothecary, selling vials of potions or whatever you want to call it, medicine or whatever. But anyway, they're poisons for women to get back at their abusive husbands. Slip them in their food or slip their vial into their drink or something to get back at them for being abusive. Definitely, this is the one that I'm most excited about. Prompt number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of 2021. And for this one, I'm going to have to go with this book. I'm hoping we have an image on the screen, although I don't know. But anyway, it is the 4th book in the second era of Mistborn. I'm also really excited for his follow-up book, the 3rd book in the Skyward series. I'll put a picture of that up there. That one's also coming out as well in the second half of 2021. Prompt number 5 is your biggest disappointment for 2021. And a little earlier on, I was telling you guys that all of the sequels that I've read so far this year, except for that book number 2 in the Shadowhunter series, have disappointed me. But in fact, this book that I'm about to show you is the only 2-star book rating that I have so far. In fact, I don't even have a 1-star rating, so this is definitely, rating-wise, the lowest book that I've rated so far in 2021, and that is the 2nd book in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. It's called Legendary. I absolutely loved Caraval. Caraval is a book about these children who go to a carnival area where they play a game. So there's like clues and stuff that they have to work out to try and win this game. And it was just so exciting and so amazing. I finished the book, but when I was like a chapter away from ending the book, I ordered book number 2. 2 days later, book 2 arrived, and I went straight into reading book 2 because I love book 1 so much. Book 2 let me down so much, and I'm literally only hanging on to it because I read it this year. Recently I did a book unhauling, and one of the rules was that if I read it this year, it can't go. But believe me, at the end of the year, this book is going, and I'm not going to read book number 3. Prompt number 6 is the biggest surprise for 2021. A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. This is an adult self-help book, and generally I'm not the biggest fan of self-help books. It's not to say that I think self-help books are a bad thing, because obviously they've helped a lot of people. So if you're someone who loves self-help books, I think that's fantastic, and I'm not putting you guys down at all. It's just for me, I love fictional books, and these are non-fiction, so it's just not the type of book that I like to read. That's all. It was so much more than I thought it was going to be. After reading this book, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to give Marianne Williamson a massive hug and say thank you to her, because she gets it. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of darkness and heaviness in the world, especially thanks to the pandemics that we've been experiencing recently. And this book is just a great book, a great way to show people how to return to a place of love. Prompt number 7 is favourite new author for 2021. I went with Jessica Townsend. This is book 1 in the Nevermore series, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. This is I believe it's a middle grade fantasy, but it's a pretty long middle grade fantasy. But I absolutely loved it. This book was filled with such whimsy and wonder, and it was just wonderful. I love when fantasy books go above and beyond with their whimsy and their wonder, and this one definitely did this. I had so much fun, potentially with a fantasy, outside of Mistborn anyway. Not since Harry Potter have I had this much fun with, let's say, a middle grade book anyway, than with this one. So I'm going to go with Jessica Townsend for this one. I do have books 2 and 3. They're literally just right down there. Just past where the camera is, actually, so you can't see them. But I plan on reading book number 2 next month. Prompt number 8, newest fictional crush. Okay, I'm going to premise this prompt by saying, Kelsia, my man, you're always going to be my number 1. Always going to be my number 1. But you're not my newest one, because, you were my crush since March of 2020, so, but he'll always be my number 1. In saying that, gosh, I feel like I'm cheating on a fictional character by saying this, but if I had to choose one, I would have to go for Keat in The Gilded Ones. I didn't particularly love this book. I ended up giving it 2 stars, but I love Keat as a character. What really shines for me and makes me crush on Keat in this book is because of his unwavering loyalty. Keat is just willing to, basically, to coin a phrase, take a bullet for people, and he's just such a loyal character, but also he's really good to be there for others, and basically a good shoulder to lean on. I'm sorry, Kelsia, I love you, Kelsia. Prompt number 9 is a book that made you cry in 2021, and this is really, really hard to find. If it was a book that made me cry in 2020, I could, just pick up books and go, this one, this one, this one. But I really haven't cried at all this year, except for one time. It took me a while to remember it, but last month I did a reread of the Harry Potter series, and even though I read them in 2020 as well, I reread them last month, so they count. Gosh dang it! Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, otherwise known as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, if you're American. I want to keep it spoiler-free. Right at the end, house points are given at a school that our protagonist attends, and when the last lot of house points are given, for those of you who have read the books or seen the films, I'm talking about Neville. When Neville gets house points at the end of the year, I cry every time. Prompt number 10, a book that made you happy. So earlier I said Kelsia is still my #1 crush, and speaking of Kelsia being my #1 crush, I read a book this year that was literally all about my favourite character Kelsia, and that was Mistborn's Secret History. This book made me so happy. Have you ever had a series that you love where there is a character that you love who's not the main character, who you don't really see anymore after the first book in that film? Imagine, if you will, that there suddenly comes out a published work that is a novella that is focused all on that character that you love. That is me and Kelsia, and that is Mistborn's Secret History. It is all about Kelsia. So it made me so happy reading this book. Oh my goodness. Prompt number 11, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. I personally did not purchase this book. It was purchased for me, but it was purchased for me this year for my birthday, and so I'm going to say it qualifies, and that's going to be The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I just think this is a gorgeous book, including the spine. I think the spine is just absolutely beautiful. This book is part of a series. It is the HarperCollins Interactive series. I've got 2 more of them up here. I do have another one in this series, but it's on my TBR, so it's up the shelf above, so you can't see it. I just think these books are... I really am trying to show it off to you guys. I always have trouble with these ones for some reason for them to come in clearly, but I just think these books are just absolutely gorgeous. Even the back is just beautiful. These books are just... oh my gosh, I love these. Now, if you want to get these books, you cannot get them in Australia. You need to get these from America. I would recommend going through Barnes & Noble or going through Amazon. And finally, prompt number 12, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? For this one, I'm going to just do something a little bit fun. I'm going to turn the camera around and kind of show them to you in a stop-start kind of way. Okay, so here we go. These are the books that I still need to read by the end of the year. Starting off with The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, Animorphs the Message and Animorphs the Encounter, both by K.A. Applegate, Books 2 and 3 in the Nevermore series, see, I told you I had them, Wondersmith and Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend, Original Sin, Books 2 in the Personal Demons series by Lisa De Roches, A Whole New World, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell, Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, and I want to give another rereading go to Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, Prince's Gambit, Book 2 in the Captive Prince series by C.S. Picard, and The Aeronaut's Windlass by Jim Butcher, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and Book 2 in the Rage of Dragons series, The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, The Tower of Fools by Andrzej Sapkowski and The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. The book on the left doesn't really want to stand. It's an ARC copy of Piranesi, and that one just fell too. Take 2. The book on the left is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, and the book on the right is Never Tell Me Never by Janine Shepherd. The joke obviously being Never Tell Me I Can Never Fall. A Tale of Magic by Chris Colfer, and Happily Ever After by Kiera Cass. Okay, these books are really having trouble standing up. We have Water Wings by Morris Gleitzman and 4 by Veronica Roth. To my remaining TBR, we have Every Value Break by Peter Swanson and Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. Just to confirm, the books I'm... And to repeat, just to confirm, the books I'm showing at the moment are the books that are currently on my June TBR. Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and The Woman Outside My Door by Rachel Ryan. And the book on the left, The Beauty and the Beast by Gabrielle Suzanne Bardot de Villeneuve, is the 3rd book in that interactive series I was showing you earlier. And the one on the right is my Cosmere read of this month, White Sand Volume 1 by Brandon Sanderson. And finally, these are my remaining Pretty Little Liars books that I need to get through. So we have Wanted, Heartless, and Killer, and they are all by Sarah Shepherd. And that's it for the mid-year book freakout tag. So what were your answers to those questions? Let me know in the comments section below. Any of the books that I'm going to be reading for the remainder of the year intrigue you, or are books that you've read before? Let me know so we can discuss them. Let me know what you thought of them. Just keep it spoiler free. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you guys go peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah! Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading!